isolated houses around the world. What if you were forced to live somewhere the world seems to have forgotten? A house perched on the edge of cliffs, stranded in the middle of the ocean, or buried deep in a remote land with no roads. These homes stand in absolute isolation. No neighbors, no streets. Sometimes not even an easy way out. For centuries, these formations have challenged scientists, leaving questions that still have no complete answers. Is this ultimate freedom, or a loneliness few could endure? Today, we are venturing into the loneliest houses on Earth, pinned precariously to the vertical cliffs of the Dolomites. Bivacco, Buffa, Perrero, Italy. Bivacco, Buffa, Perrero looks like a house trapped between the high sky and the rocky drop below. Sitting at more than 955 feet above sea level, this small house rests against the Monte Cristallo cliff like part of the mountain itself. Bivacco Buffa de Perrero was built by Italian soldiers during World War I from 1915 to 1918 as an observation post and strategic shelter during the war against Austria-Hungary. The snowstorms here can be so severe that they once tore down the roof of the house in past years, requiring extraordinary restoration efforts. This is not a hotel for tourists, but an emergency shelter, so you must bring everything you need, including drinking water. Anyone who reaches this place can use the shelter fairly, like an unspoken rule of teamwork among people who love high mountains. Solvay Hut, Swiss Alps. Solvay Hut, near the Matterhorn summit in the Swiss Alps, is one of the loneliest shelters clinging to a vertical cliff high in the sky. The metal-coated wooden hut stands at about 13,100 feet, serving as an emergency lifeline for serious mountaineers. He is inside. The hut offers only about 108 square feet of space, providing minimal shelter for climbing teams in danger. The hut has stood for more than 100 years through durable construction, resisting harsh erosion in the high Alps. Its presence creates a striking contrast between humanity's tiny architecture and the vast grandeur of granite rock masses. Phugtal Monastery, India. Elliðaey Monastery in India's Zansar region is a mysterious, secluded monastery built around a huge natural cave opening on a cliff. This ancient Buddhist structure has endured for 2,500 years, becoming a lasting symbol of faith within the majestic Himalayas. Reaching this destination requires visitors to hike across precarious trails for many days before touching absolute silence. Monastery walls, made from mud bricks and wood, blend perfectly with the mountainside, creating a complex separated from the modern world. The monastery structure has clung to solid rock for centuries, defying normal construction rules through ancient handmade techniques. Its interior contains many shrines and narrow corridors, forming a quiet spiritual maze deep within a remote, rocky mountain region. Cave of the Crystals, Mexico. Katskhi Pillar in Georgia's Imereti region is a solitary limestone column rising straight into the sky, preserving isolated beauty above a lush valley. This single limestone pillar stands about 130 feet high, creating a hermit refuge completely separated from the human world below. The summit surface covers only about 1,600 square feet, offering a minimal living space for hermits who chose seclusion. The monastery atop the rock pillar was built in the 9th century, proving human perseverance in conquering extreme height. The limestone structure, formed from ancient marine sediments, shaped over millions of years to stand firmly above the wide valley. Reaching the pillar summit requires climbing a vertical iron ladder system, testing the courage of anyone approaching this lonely dwelling. The eternal survival of this rock amid storms confirms nature's superior strength, where time seems to have stopped centuries ago, hanging from the cliffs of the sacred valley cliffside. Rainbow Mountain, Peru. Side Capsule is known as the world's first hanging hotel, where one night of sleep can begin with the feeling of being in mid-air. These clear sleeping pods sit about 1,312 feet above the ground, offering a stay made for people who want more adventure than ordinary comfort. Each capsule is made from aerospace aluminum and high-strength polycarbonate, with the ability to hold up to about 28 US tons to turn a steep cliff into a place where someone can sleep overnight. Each suite is secured by 21 strong anchor points. The only emergency exit is placed on the roof of the capsule, giving the person inside a way out if something unexpected happens. Even your meal becomes part of the adventure because local guides have to climb the cliff or use ropes to bring food to you. Spotted Lake, Canada. Cliff Convenience Store is a tiny kiosk of about 22 square feet, famous as the most inconvenient convenience store in the world. At first, this place was only a small rest stop for climbers, but in April 2018, it was turned into a real convenience store. The store is shaped like a small wooden box fixed tightly to the cliff with a special safety anchor system to keep it stable on the vertical rock wall. To reach it, you must follow a climbing route about 2,600 feet long, with steel cables, iron ladders, and safety bolts along the way. To restock the store, workers have to climb the mountain every day or use a special zipline system to move food up the cliff. Even though delivery is extremely difficult, a bottle of water here costs only about 2 yuan or about 30 US cents to support people climbing the mountain. Pentedattilo, in Italy's Calabria region, is an ancient village clinging to a hand-shaped rock formation embodying haunting beauty amid nature. Simple stone houses stand isolated against the mountainside, reflecting centuries of silence since the last residents departed. The hand-shaped sandstone formation rises about 1,970 feet high, reaching more than twice the height of the Eiffel Tower. After the devastating earthquake of 1783, the village was completely abandoned and became a place preserving echoes of the past. Deep chasms between rocky outcrops form natural boundaries, shielding the settlement from the influence of the modern world. The presence of these ruins among limestone cliffs confirms the limits of human construction against the enduring power of time. Devil's Tower, USA. Hanging Temple in Shanxi Province, China, is a unique ancient structure that has clung to a vertical cliff for more than 1,500 years. The temple complex was built about 246 feet above the ground, creating a remarkably precarious architectural presence on the cliff face. Hundreds of wooden beams were inserted deep into natural rock cavities, supporting the entire weight of this historic wooden structure. Walkways between the temple halls are narrow and steep, weaving through natural rock formations to create a continuous yet challenging passage. The temple honors Buddhism, Taoism, and Confucianism together, reflecting profound religious harmony within an exceptionally distinctive architectural setting. Dark brown wooden elements combined with silver-gray roof tiles create a striking visual contrast against the rugged cliff backdrop. The temple's existence on such a dangerous cliff demonstrates human ingenuity in overcoming harsh terrain through ancient engineering techniques. Klein Curacao Lighthouse Keeper House. Klein Curacao Lighthouse Keeper House is a solitary structure in the Caribbean Sea, swallowed by the ocean where no traces of human presence remain around it. The house and lighthouse stand alone on a flat coral island of about 420 acres, roughly 2 miles southeast of Curacao, completely separated from the mainland. The area is constantly exposed to strong trade winds from the ocean, keeping the entire environment harsh and empty. In 1977, a massive hurricane completely destroyed the original lighthouse, built in 1850, forcing its reconstruction. When rebuilt in 1979, the entire structure was coated in bright coral pink plaster, creating a strong contrast against the deep blue sea and its isolated architecture. The lighthouse tower stands about 72 feet tall, alone on a barren island, like a single stone pillar piercing the stormy Caribbean sky. Ilum is known as the death-dealing challenger of the Elliðaey Sea, where waves dozens of feet high can swallow an entire lighthouse in one of the most violent stretches of water in Europe. The image of the tower, standing alone, inside a white wall of water with waves rising to more than 80 feet, has become one of the most iconic moments in maritime photography. For decades, lighthouse keepers lived inside cylindrical rooms of only about 161 square feet, where the line between work, sleep, and isolation almost disappeared. Between white sea foam and the darkness of the ocean, that stern grey tower creates a color palette of deep sorrow, like a lonely symbol of humanity facing nature at its most unforgiving. Stones, Death Valley. Bishop Rock is a lonely rock in the Atlantic Ocean, recognized by Guinness World Records as the smallest island in the world with a building on it. It sits at the western edge of the Isles of Scilly, off the coast of England, like a small rock reaching into the open sea about 28 miles from the mainland. Before the current tower existed, an iron lighthouse was started in 1847, but a major storm in 1850 destroyed it completely before it was finished. On calm days, the White Tower stands clearly above the blue water. But when storms arrive, waves dozens of feet high can hide the base of the tower and make Bishop Rock look like an island that is disappearing. The present lighthouse was built with about 2,500 tons of granite, with each stone block cut and carefully numbered on land before being shipped out to Bishop Rock. On that small rock, there are no trees and no soil, and from the lighthouse, the only thing stretching ahead is the far horizon of the Atlantic. Wulingyuan, China. Elliðaey Island lies isolated in the Sea of Iceland, distinguished by a solitary wooden house standing amid lush green surroundings filled with extraordinary silence. This structure was built in 1953 by a local hunting association, serving as lodging for members who visited the remote island. In 1930, the last 5 families left the island and returned to the mainland, leaving it without permanent residence for many years. The house has no electricity, no road access, and no internet connection, becoming a classic symbol of complete separation from the modern world. Rifugio Gervasutti, Italy. Aogashima Island in Japan's vast Pacific Ocean is a unique volcanic landscape where a small village sits entirely within a massive crater. This remarkable geological formation creates a natural fortress surrounding the entire settlement, completely separating residents from mainland life. Cliffs surrounding the island rise about 1,300 feet high, forming a strong wall between human habitation and the powerful ocean beyond. The island's population is only about 160 people, creating a close-knit community in a remote region far from modern urban centers. After the devastating eruption of 1785, residents returned to rebuild their homes upon the volcanic remains, proving extraordinary resilience. Complete isolation in the middle of the ocean, has turned this island into a symbol of tranquility, where people live alongside Earth's primal forces. Elliðaey House is a sanctuary of solitude, a place named the loneliest house in the world. 300 years ago, 5 families once clung to life here in fragile turf huts, fighting nature to survive by fishing and hunting birds before surrendering and leaving completely in the 1930s. Unlike the rumors of a billionaire hideout or a cult, this house was built by the Elliðaey Hunting Association in 1953, simply serving as a resting stop for the bravest puffin hunters. This house rejects all ordinary tourists, cannot be booked on any website, and its doors only open for members of the Hunting Association or their close friends. On days when thick fog rises from the sea, the island and the house seem to float among the clouds, ethereal and unreal, like a scene straight out of Norse mythology. Shiprock, USA. Skellig Michael in Ireland is a lonely, rocky island in the ocean where monks' stone huts have endured for more than 1,000 years. The monastery complex includes beehive-shaped huts built entirely by hand from stone without mortar binding the slabs together. The island rises about 715 feet above the sea, forming a sharp stone spear surrounded by the violent ocean. Reaching it requires visitors to climb 600 rough stone steps, a serious physical challenge in a completely isolated wilderness. The presence of old stone huts creates a nostalgic feeling, evoking a civilization that rejected ordinary comforts. House on the Drina River, Serbia. Hidden in the blue waters of Patagonia, the marble caves look like a marble palace carved by waves from the heart of the rock over thousands of years. The water of General Carrera Lake keeps washing against the base of the rock, slowly wearing the marble walls into caves, arches, and narrow passages. Inside, the stone is not flat, but bends into veins, arches, and columns, like smoke hardened inside the mountain. The colors change with the water level and the light, making the same cave look cool blue in the morning and bright silver at midday. The mystery of the marble caves lies in their feeling of softness when a hard stone looks like silk pulled into folds by water. As a small boat drifts close to the wall, each paddle stroke seems to open another blue room in the marble maze of Patagonia. St. George's Island, Montenegro. St. George's Island in Montenegro's Bay of Kotor is often called the world's loneliest island, holding an ancient monastery isolated among calm waters. The island contains a monastery from the 12th century, surrounded by tall cypress trees that create a solemn and quiet appearance. Rules banning tourist landings turn this place into a secluded oasis, fully preserving the silence around its ancient cultural values. The stone wall surrounding the island rises about 33 feet, protecting the solitude of resting souls behind the ancient architecture. The combination of cold grey stone cliffs and dark green cypress trees creates one of the Adriatic's most iconic, solitary architectural symbols. Civita di Bagnoregio, Italy. Civita di Bagnoregio, in Italy's Lazio region, is a disappearing ancient village with only 10 residents perched on an eroding volcanic rock. The village's only entrance is a pedestrian bridge about 1,000 feet long, completely separating its medieval architecture from the modern world. Fragile tufa ground makes the village area shrink after every rainfall, marking the inevitable ending of its long history. Stone archways and houses still stand firmly through many changes, proving the masterful construction techniques of earlier eras. Empty windows facing the deep abyss evoke the limits of every human structure before untouched nature. The village carries a haunting beauty of final memories, where every falling stone reminds visitors of time's decay. Meteora, Greece. Meteora, in the Thessaly region of Greece, is a complex of ancient monasteries perched atop giant sandstone pillars suspended high above the landscape. These towering sandstone columns were formed through millions of years of erosion, creating stable foundations for isolated structures among nature. More than 1,000 rock pillars rise toward the sky, forming a natural barrier that once provided secluded living spaces for monks. Red-tiled buildings, balanced atop dark stone formations, stand as enduring evidence of humanity's spiritual devotion and perseverance through centuries. Meteora has survived for more than 600 years, a lifespan far exceeding that of many of the world's most modern skyscrapers. Bryce Canyon. Ronda, in Spain's Andalusia region, stands upon a limestone plateau, famous for white buildings, perched dramatically above the edge of a deep gorge. A canyon, about 330 feet deep, divides the town into two sections, creating a formidable setting for centuries-old architecture. Stone arch bridges built during the 18th century connect both sides of the gorge and remain proud symbols of historic engineering. Ronda once played a central role in shaping modern bullfighting traditions, preserving distinctive cultural and historical values of the region. Time-worn white walls, standing beside rocky precipices, create a striking contrast between ancient tranquility and rugged natural terrain. The town was built directly upon natural limestone cliffs, demonstrating humanity's determination to overcome challenging geographic limitations. Ronda's enduring presence above the vast gorge reflects the human ability to create lasting settlements in some of the most isolated locations.